High Evaluator Nix 427 adjusted her crystalline sensory array as she studied the holographic projection of Earth floating before the Galactic Consortium's assessment chamber. Her faceted eyes reflected the blue-green marble, seemingly unremarkable among the countless worlds under the Consortium's watch. The chamber's obsidian walls absorbed the soft light of countless data streams flowing through the air, carrying millennia of accumulated wisdom from 1,000 species. Preliminary assessment of Sol 3, designation Earth, is now in session, she announced, her translator converting her crystalline resonances into the Consortium's standard communication format. Present your findings. Observer clicks. A being of living vapor materialized before the projection, its form constantly shifting between states of matter. Most esteemed evaluator, my team has monitored Earth for 3 of their solar cycles. Their technological progress follows standard patterns for pre-integration species, but with concerning anomalies. Nix 427's crystalline structure vibrated with interest. Elaborate. Their information networks are chaotic, inefficient. They maintain thousands of competing systems rather than a unified network. Their energy production relies heavily on burning fossil fuels, though they possess basic fusion technology. Their space presence is minimal. A handful of primitive satellites, a small orbital station, and rudimentary chemical rockets. These observations suggest a standard Class 3 civilization, Nix 427 noted. Why do you seem troubled, observer? Klix's form rippled with uncertainty. The anomalies, evaluator. Their technological progression is erratic. They achieved nuclear fission before developing practical solar power. They created global information networks before solving basic environmental challenges. They've mastered miniaturization in some fields while remaining primitive in others. It defies all known development models. The assessment chamber's other occupants, representatives from the Consortium's most powerful species, stirred with mild interest. A thought weaver's neural tendrils pulsed with purple light as it projected its consciousness into the discussion. Perhaps their development has been guided by external influences. Negative, Klux responded. We've detected no evidence of unauthorized contact. Earth remains properly quarantined under Directive 873B. Yet they continue to advance in unpredictable patterns. Nix 427 processed this information through her crystal matrices. Your recommendation, observer. Immediate integration. Klix's form solidified momentarily with conviction. Their development curve suggests they may achieve breakthrough technologies within decades. The longer we wait, the more difficult incorporation will become. A quantum collective representative, manifesting as a cloud of probability waves, oscillated with concern. The humans display remarkable adaptability. Their entertainment media frequently depicts scenarios of resistance against technologically superior forces. Fiction. Klix dismissed. Their military capabilities are centuries behind Consortium standards. They still rely on kinetic weapons and chemical explosives. Their most advanced AI systems barely qualify as intelligent. Nix 427 extended a crystalline appendage, manipulating the holographic display to show Earth's major population centers. Their social structure concerns me. Most species achieve unity before reaching their current technological level. The humans maintain numerous competing nation-states. Another reason for swift action, Klix insisted. Their divisions make them vulnerable. We can exploit existing tensions to minimize resistance during integration. The evaluator studied the planet's night side, watching the web of artificial lights that marked human civilization. Something about the pattern nagged at her crystalline consciousness. It seemed almost deliberate, as if the chaos itself was a form of order she couldn't quite grasp. Very well, she announced. I will recommend to the High Council that Earth be designated for immediate integration under Protocol 7C. Standard procedures apply. Technological containment, social restructuring, and controlled development. The humans will be assigned appropriate roles within the Consortium hierarchy. The chamber's occupants signaled their agreement, their various forms of consciousness reaching consensus. Only the quantum collective representative maintained a slight phase variance, its probability waves suggesting a small but persistent doubt. As the assessment concluded, Nix 427 found herself studying the holographic Earth one final time. For a moment, she thought she detected something in the data streams, a pattern within the chaos, a purpose behind the seemingly random technological development. But her crystal matrices couldn't isolate it, and she dismissed the notion as a processing error. The humans would be incorporated into the consortium, their development guided along proper paths, their chaos replaced with order. It was for their own good, after all, just as it had been for all species that came before. She had no way of knowing that at that very moment, deep beneath the Earth's surface, the patterns she couldn't quite grasp were operating exactly as intended. The chaos was a curtain, and behind it, humanity was preparing a welcome for their would-be saviors that would shake the foundations of the galaxy. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the heart of Project Labyrinth, a vast underground complex beneath the Australian outback that officially didn't exist. The facility's quantum-shielded walls masked its energy signature from even the most advanced alien sensors, making it appear as nothing more than another patch of desert to the watchful eyes above. "Status report," she commanded, her voice carrying across the circular command center where hundreds of holographic displays showed real-time data from Earth's hidden defense network. Colonel James Martinez, her military liaison, stepped forward. "The consortium's observer ships are exactly where we want them, Doctor. They're still focusing on our surface activities, particularly the failed fusion reactor tests in Nevada." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Those tests had been carefully choreographed, designed to show just enough progress to seem believable while hiding their true fusion capabilities. The massive facility in Nevada was largely for show. The real power plants were buried deep within the Earth's crust, their energy signatures masked by artificial tectonic activity. "And our friends up there still think our quantum computing problems are insurmountable?" she asked, gesturing to a display showing the consortium's latest intelligence assessment. "They're convinced we're decades away from a breakthrough," Martins confirmed. "The public debates about quantum supremacy are very convincing. Having prominent scientists argue about basic principles really sells it." A young lieutenant rushed up with a data pad. "Dr. Chen, we're detecting increased communication between the observer ships and the consortium assessment chamber. They're preparing to make their final evaluation." Sarah moved to the central platform, where a three-dimensional representation of Earth's defense grid sparkled to life. Thousands of seemingly innocent satellites, space debris, and abandoned rockets were highlighted in blue, each one a carefully disguised weapons platform or sensor array. "How many of our satellites have they identified as potentially military?" she asked. Martinez checked his displays. "Less than 2%, and those are the ones we wanted them to flag. The rest are still classified as primitive communication and weather monitoring devices in their database." Sarah nodded, remembering the decades of careful preparation that had led to this moment. When humanity first detected the consortium's probe ships 30 years ago, they had faced a choice: reveal themselves and hope for peaceful contact, or prepare in secret for the worst. The decision to hide their true capabilities had been controversial, but unanimous among those who knew the full situation. "Begin Phase 2, she ordered. "Have our agents in the major tech companies start their social media campaigns. I want the internet flooded with conspiracy theories about government incompetence and failed space programs." "Already underway," Martins confirmed. "The latest viral video shows the embarrassing failure of our new heavy launcher. The comment sections are full of people arguing about whether space travel is even real." Sarah walked to a secure terminal and entered her authorization code, bringing up the status of humanity's true space fleet. Hidden in dimensional pocket spaces and powered by zero-point energy, the ships represented technology that the consortium believed impossible for primitive species to achieve. Each vessel was unique, deliberately designed to look cobbled together and improvised. Exactly what you'd expect from a species making their first tentative steps into advanced spaceflight. Dr. Chen, a voice called from the quantum communication station. We're picking up increased activity in the consortium's fleet staging areas. They're preparing for something big. They're going to vote to integrate us, Sarah said, her voice hard. Their assessment is complete, and they've decided we're too primitive to be a threat, but too potentially dangerous to be left alone. They'll come in force, expecting to find a divided planet of squabbling nations barely able to reach orbit. Martinez's hand tightened on his tablet. How long until they make their move? Based on their standard protocols, they'll want to strike while they think we're vulnerable. I'd estimate within their next solar cycle, about 3 Earth months. She turned to address the entire command center. Accelerate all preparations. I want every hidden weapon system checked and double-checked. Our surface defense forces should continue their routine exercises, making just enough mistakes to reinforce the consortium's assumptions. A scientist at the quantum physics station raised his hand. What about the dimensional anchor project? We're ready for final testing. Sarah's expression turned grim. Proceed, but carefully. If they detect our ability to manipulate dimensional space, the game is up. That technology is supposed to be exclusive to Class 1 civilizations. As the command center bustled with activity, Sarah moved to a private viewing station and brought up an image of the consortium's massive fleet gathering at the edge of their solar system. The aliens thought they were being stealthy, but humanity's quantum sensors could detect their every move. They're so convinced of their superiority, she murmured. They see our chaos and think it's weakness. They don't understand that we turned unpredictability into an art form. Martinez joined her at the viewing station. The consortium's official assessment just came through. They've classified us as a Class 3 civilization, recommended for immediate integration. Their invasion fleet will expect minimal resistance. Sarah's reflection in the screen showed a fierce smile. Good. Let them come expecting primitives with chemical rockets and clumsy AI. They'll never see our real defenses until it's too late. She turned to Martinez. Send the coded signal to all our deep cover agents in the consortium worlds. Tell them to be ready. When the invasion fleet arrives, we're going to teach them why humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to surprise. Fleet Commander Zex9 watched with smug satisfaction as his armada of 10,000 ships dropped out of hyperspace beyond Mars orbit. The massive vessels, each bristling with weapons that could level cities, emerged in perfect formation, a sight that had broken the will of countless civilizations before their integration into the consortium. Begin standard intimidation protocol, he ordered, his crystalline form gleaming with anticipated victory. Let the primitives see their doom approaching. Fear will make the integration process smoother. His flagship's AI compiled with mechanical precision, broadcasting the consortium's standard surrender demands across all known human communication frequencies. The message was simple: submit to integration or face annihilation. Deep beneath the Australian desert, Dr. Sarah Chen watched the invasion fleet's arrival on Project Labyrinth's quantum displays. Her team had been tracking the ship's approach through hyperspace for days, but seeing them in normal space was still impressive. They're keeping perfect formation, Colonel Martinez noted. Typical consortium arrogance. They're not even attempting to mask their numbers or capabilities. Sarah nodded. They want us to see their power. Status of Operation Pandora. All systems green, Martinez replied. Our primitive satellites are transmitting exactly the kind of panicked emergency signals they'd expect. Global defense forces are scrambling in apparent disarray. Social media is exploding with confusion and conspiracy theories, just as planned. Time to show them why you should never judge a book by its cover, Sarah said, entering her command authorization. Execute Phase 1. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden defenses stirred to life. What the consortium had dismissed as space debris began to move with purpose. Abandoned satellites revealed sophisticated weapon systems. Countless pieces of artificial space junk transformed into autonomous combat drones. On the consortium flagship, alarms suddenly blared as sensors detected movement throughout the solar system. "Commander," a sensor operator called out, their crystalline form vibrating with confusion. "Multiple objects approaching. Their acceleration and vector changes are impossible for primitive chemical propulsion." Zex-9's smug satisfaction cracked slightly. "Impossible. Their technological level is confirmed. They cannot have." His words cut off as the first wave of humanity's defensive weapons struck. Quantum-tipped missiles, launched from what had appeared to be defunct weather satellites, phased through the consortium's energy shields as if they didn't exist. Graviton beams from disguised space debris tore through hull plating designed to withstand plasma weapons. "Shields failing," the tactical officer reported, panic causing their crystalline form to resonate chaotically. "Their weapons, they're using technology that shouldn't exist. The humans have quantum manipulation capabilities." In Project Labyrinth's command center, Sarah watched the chaos unfold. "Launch our fleet," she ordered. "Let's show them what humanity's been hiding." From dimensional pockets scattered throughout the solar system, Earth's true space fleet emerged. Each ship was unique, deliberately designed to look improvised and cobbled together. But beneath their ramshackle appearance lay technology that matched or exceeded the consortium's capabilities. Commander Zex-9 stared in horror as hundreds of human vessels appeared from nowhere, their drives operating on principles his sensors couldn't even analyze. "Impossible," he whispered. "They're supposed to be primitive. Their energy readings. These ships are using zero-point energy and dimensional manipulation. Those are Class 1 technologies." "Sir," his communications officer called out, "we're being hacked. Something is tearing through our quantum encryption like it's not even there." Through every screen and holographic display on the consortium ships, a message began playing. Dr. Sarah Chin's face appeared, her expression stern but composed. "Attention Consortium Invasion Fleet," she announced. "For decades, you've watched us, studied us, and judged us. You saw what we wanted you to see. A chaotic, primitive species barely able to reach our own moon. You've never questioned why our development seems so erratic, why our technology advanced in such strange patterns. You never considered that the chaos might be deliberate. The human fleet moved into attack formation, their apparent disorder hiding a deeper tactical purpose that the consortium's battle computers couldn't predict. You thought our divided nations, our competing systems, our seemingly inefficient progress were signs of weakness." Sarah continued. "Instead, they were our greatest camouflage. Every conspiracy theory, every failed project, every public argument about space technology, all carefully crafted to hide our true capabilities." Zex-9 watched helplessly as his fleet's sophisticated defense systems were systematically dismantled by weapons that shouldn't exist. Human ships danced through space in patterns that defied standard combat logic, turning their apparent technological disadvantages into tactical advantages. "We knew you were coming," Sarah's message concluded. "We've known for 30 years, and we decided to prepare a proper welcome. Your fleet is now trapped in a dimensional anchor field. Your weapons are being systematically disabled. Your choice is simple. Surrender or discover exactly how many more surprises humanity has prepared for unwelcome visitors." As if to emphasize her point, several human ships demonstrated their dimensional phasing technology, passing straight through consortium vessels as if they were ghosts, leaving disabled systems in their wake. Commander Zex-9's crystalline form seemed to age centuries in moments as he realized the full magnitude of their error. They had come expecting to find primitives. Instead, they had walked into a trap centuries in the making, laid by a species that had turned deception into an art form. Send the surrender signal," he ordered, his voice barely a whisper. In the space around his fleet, more human ships continued to emerge from hiding, each one a testament to humanity's true capabilities and the consortium's monumental mistake. The consortium's High Council chamber had never seen such chaos. Representatives from 1,000 species argued in a cacophony of translated voices, their usual decorum shattered by the news from Earth. High Evaluator Nix 427's crystalline form showed visible cracks from stress as she tried to maintain order. The humans have launched simultaneous strikes across 17 systems, she announced, her voice cutting through the din. They're using our own jump gate network against us. Somehow, they've had agents embedded throughout consortium space for years. A holographic display showed the extent of humanity's counteroffensive. The supposedly primitive species had not only defeated the invasion fleet, they had immediately launched a coordinated attack that caught the consortium completely off guard. In the command center of the EDF Prometheus, now deep in consortium space, Dr. Sarah Chen watched their plans unfold. The ship, despite its exterior appearing cobbled together from salvage technology, was humanity's most advanced vessel. "Status report," she commanded, studying the tactical displays showing human forces advancing through supposedly secure consortium systems. "Operation Trojan Horse is proceeding ahead of schedule," Colonel Martinez reported from his station. "Our deep cover agents have disabled planetary defense systems on 6 worlds. The Quantum Collective's primary processing hub has been infected with our viral AI. They're still trying to figure out how we breached their isolated networks." Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. They'd never questioned why Earth had so many competing digital payment systems, social networks, and encryption standards. The perfect cover for developing quantum-resistant cyber warfare capabilities. Dr. Chen, a communications officer, called out, "We're receiving a priority message from the Silicon Consciousness. They're requesting asylum." The Silicon Consciousness, an artificial intelligence collective that had joined the consortium millennia ago, had attempted to hack Earth's defense networks during the initial invasion. They had encountered humanity's defensive AI systems, which operated on principles so chaotic and unpredictable that they defied conventional digital warfare tactics. "Tell them we'll consider their request," Sarah replied, "once they acknowledge our sovereignty and agree to our terms." The Prometheus's quantum sensors detected a massive energy surge from a nearby system. On the main display, they watched as a consortium battle fleet attempted to use an experimental weapon against Earth's advancing forces. The weapon, designed to disrupt dimensional space itself, backfired spectacularly when it encountered humanity's quantum field technology. "They still don't understand," Martinez observed. "They keep trying to use standard tactics against us. That's because they've never faced a species that turned unpredictability into a science," Sarah responded. "For millennia, the consortium has enforced conformity across the galaxy. Every civilization they've encountered either followed their predetermined development paths or was forcibly integrated." A tactical officer raised his hand. "The Harmonious Collective is attempting to use their empathic abilities to influence our crews in the Centauri sector." Sarah actually laughed at that. "How's that working out for them?" "Our people report getting mild headaches. Apparently, trying to telepathically influence humans who spend time on social media is like trying to navigate a hurricane." The Prometheus shuddered slightly as it phased through normal space into one of humanity's artificial dimensional pockets, emerging behind a consortium defensive line that had been established to contain Earth's advance. The enemy ships, their sensors and weapon systems all calibrated for conventional space warfare, never had a chance to react. "Begin broadcasting on all consortium frequencies," Sarah ordered. "It's time to deliver our terms." Her image appeared on communication systems across consortium space. Behind her, tactical displays showed human forces systematically dismantling the galaxy's oldest and most powerful civilization. "Representatives of the Galactic Consortium," she began, her voice calm but firm, "you have now seen a fraction of humanity's true capabilities. Your attempt to subjugate Earth has failed. Your military forces have proven ineffective against our technology. Your secure networks have been compromised. Your hidden facilities have been exposed." The Prometheus's sensors detected increasing panic across consortium command channels as her words sank in. "We could continue this demonstration," Sarah continued, We could show you exactly how many more surprises we've prepared over the decades. Instead, we offer you a choice. Accept our terms for a new relationship between Earth and the Consortium, or watch as we dismantle everything you've built over the millennia. In the High Council chamber, Nix 427 watched helplessly as more reports of human victories poured in. The species they had dismissed as primitives had not only survived their invasion attempt, they had turned it into an opportunity to reshape the galactic order. Their terms are unusual, she announced to the assembled representatives, her crystalline form vibrating with uncertainty. They don't want to destroy or dominate the Consortium. They want to reform it. The chamber erupted in confused discussions. In the history of the galaxy, no species had ever gained the upper hand over the Consortium and chosen cooperation over conquest. Yet here were the humans, offering a path forward that didn't end in complete humiliation for their defeated opponents. As the debate raged, Sarah Chen's message continued playing throughout Consortium space. You sought to impose order on chaos. We learned to weaponize chaos itself. Now we offer to teach you something even more valuable: how to embrace diversity, how to thrive on unpredictability, how to build strength from difference rather than conformity. The galaxy would never be the same. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, humanity smiled, knowing that their greatest victory hadn't come from their hidden technology or careful preparations, but from their ability to surprise everyone, including themselves. 1 year after the failed invasion of Earth, the Great Hall of Harmony on the Consortium's capital world looked very different. Gone were the rigid arrangements of species by technological tier. Gone were the crystalline barriers separating different civilizations. Instead, representatives from across the galaxy mingled freely, their differences celebrated rather than regulated. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the central podium, now modified to accommodate any species comfortably, addressing the first gathering of the reformed Galactic Council. Behind her, Earth's seemingly chaotic architecture blended surprisingly well with the Consortium's traditional crystal spires, a physical representation of the new order. The last year has taught us all valuable lessons, she began, her words translated simultaneously into thousands of languages. The Consortium learned that progress doesn't always follow a predictable path. Humanity learned that we don't have to hide our true nature to survive in the galaxy. High Evaluator Nix 427, her crystalline form now bearing artistic modifications inspired by human design principles, nodded in agreement. The former Consortium leader had become one of the strongest advocates for change after experiencing firsthand the benefits of human unpredictability. Our success in integrating Earth's principles into the galactic community has exceeded all projections, Nix 427 announced. The Silicon Consciousness reports a 300% increase in problem-solving capability after adopting human-inspired random processing algorithms. The Harmonious Collective's empaths have discovered entirely new dimensions of emotional experience through exposure to human entertainment media. Colonel Martinez, now serving as Earth's military liaison to the Council, pulled up a holographic display showing the transformation of various Consortium worlds. The cultural exchange program has been particularly successful. It turns out that many species were quietly yearning for something different. They just needed permission to embrace chaos. The display showed scenes that would have been unthinkable a year ago. Consortium scientists collaborating with human researchers, combining rigid methodology with intuitive leaps. Crystalline beings attending human art classes, learning to express themselves through deliberate imperfection. Even the Quantum Collective had representatives at human comedy clubs, trying to understand humor through probability matrices. Perhaps most significantly, Sarah continued, we've seen a renaissance in technological development. When we remove the artificial constraints on progress, when we encourage species to develop along their natural paths rather than predetermined routes, we discovered that everyone had something unique to contribute. The evidence was everywhere. Human dimensional phase technology combined with Consortium crystal engineering had revolutionized space travel. The Silicon Consciousness, freed from rigid programming constraints, had developed entirely new forms of artificial intelligence. Even the most traditional consortium species were finding that a little chaos in their ordered lives led to unprecedented breakthroughs. But our greatest achievement, Sarah said, her voice carrying clearly through the hall, has been learning from each other. Humanity has gained the benefits of consortium experience and stability. The consortium has learned the value of embracing uncertainty. A young consortium researcher, their crystalline form deliberately grown with artistic irregularities, raised a question. But how do we maintain order while embracing chaos? How do we prevent the galaxy from descending into true anarchy? Sarah smiled. By understanding that true stability doesn't come from enforcing uniformity, but from finding harmony in diversity. Earth's history is full of examples where our greatest achievements came from bringing different perspectives together. The hall's quantum displays showed images from human history, times when combining different cultures, ideas, and approaches had led to revolutionary advances. Alongside them, new images appeared showing similar developments happening across consortium space. "We're not here to destroy the old order," Sarah explained. "We're here to help it evolve." The consortium's experience in managing a galactic civilization is valuable. We just needed to add some human creativity to the mix. High Evaluator Nix 427 stepped forward, her crystal matrix pulsing with colors that would have been considered dangerously emotional a year ago. The Reformed Council's first year has proven that order and chaos are not opposites. They are complementary forces. The humans didn't just defeat our invasion. They showed us a better way forward. As if to emphasize the point, a group of Silicon Consciousness delegates began experimenting with human dance moves, their digital avatars attempting to master the chaos of freestyle expression. Nearby, human engineers consulted with consortium architects, finding ways to blend Earth's artistic chaos with crystal precision. The galaxy feared humanity's unpredictability, Sarah concluded, watching the diverse species interact freely. The consortium tried to contain what they didn't understand, but in doing so, they almost missed out on the greatest gift humanity had to offer, the understanding that true strength comes not from imposing order, but from embracing diversity. The Great Hall of Harmony lived up to its name, filled with the sounds of 1,000 species learning, growing, and evolving together. Humanity had not just survived the consortium's attempt at conquest, they had transformed it, turning an ancient and rigid civilization into something new and vibrant. And somewhere in the vast reaches of space, other young civilizations were emerging, looking up at the stars and wondering what awaited them. When they finally reached for the heavens, they would find not a consortium demanding conformity, but a galaxy of infinite possibilities, where chaos and order danced together in endless harmony.